Hey y'all, Natalie here for a cherry on top today, and I am here with Freshen Up Volume 3. We're focusing on using heat embossing on our scrapbooking pages this week. So I'm going to do this fun little Halloween layout using 3 or 4, I think, different ways of heat embossing on a layout. So I have this paper from Fancy Pants, and I have these cute 4 little photos of my sons, and the last one there, I have the bigger one bonking the younger one on the head with the pumpkin. It's just so typical. I just had to document this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm using my really thick and heavy gesso, and I'm going to make a little circle in the middle of this pattern paper. And I'm just spreading it on right now with a brush, but I'm not wanting those brush lines. So you'll see me go in here with my fingers and soften it up and just smooth it out and get rid of those brush lines. It does get messy, but that's okay. I like to get messy. So I have a really detailed blog post detailing all kinds of ideas for using embossing on your scrapbooking layouts. I know a lot of times we use embossing for card making, which is awesome, but it can also really enhance your scrapbooking pages. If you're not doing that, let's pull out our embossing stuff and play with it and do it. And if you haven't tried it before, I highly suggest it. There is nothing more satisfying than melting embossing powder, y'all. So now we have dried gesso. And I'm going to add my Ken Oliver color burst on the background. On the background. I'm using this orange color, and it looks super bold and bright at first, but I add enough water that it ends up being this really gorgeous, very light orange color. So it's still allowing for me to do additional mixed media over the background, over the watercolor part. So you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So I'm just containing the water to the circular gessoed portion of the page, adding in more powdered pigment and just rolling it around. So I got a phone call, and so my camera turned off. So that was what that weird little thing was just then. So isn't this satisfying to just watch it like zoom around? And I'm just using my finger to make sure that I kind of want all of that white section covered up with color. So here we have it. And normally I would use splatter after it dries, but today, since we're focusing on heat embossing, I'm going to use the stenciling technique. So that's what you'll see here. So look how pretty that dried, and really a mottled color. It pulled up, and so we have that variation. I like that. Oh, first, before I do my stenciling, I'm going to cut up the photos and see how I'm going to arrange them. And that's about it. So now I'm going to grab my stencil. I'm going to show you. First we're going to do the title. Sorry. So this is another way of using embossing. I'm going to emboss a cut file. So I cut out my title, which is Punkin' Chunkin', from my Cricut, and I'm going to emboss those titles with black, and I'm trying to decide which color to use in the background. So now I'm going to show you with the stencil. I'm just going to go around in those empty spots, and I'm going to just use a little foam pad, and I'm going to spread my embossing ink through that dotted stencil. And it's just going to give this really cool, there's my embossing bag first, to just make sure that we don't have any static. And so now I'm just going to use that foam pad, and I'm going to spread that ink through the dotted stencil, and it really is just going to give this awesome texture in the background because it is raised off the page a little bit. Plus, I'm going to use that Sunset Boulevard Wow embossing powder. Wow is one of my favorites because there's so many of them that have this pretty glitter, and I love glitter, but you can use it in embossing form and it doesn't make a giant mess. This is a little bit of a mess, but what I mean is, once your scrapbook page is complete and you want to put it in a page protector, the glitter stays put. It's not going to fall off over time and get unsticky. It's hardened and it's like an enamel now. So, plus I love embossing powder. It goes a long way. So here we are. We're going to melt the dots, and I just love that added little pop of texture there. The same color orange kind of, and then glitter, of course. Especially in the holidays upcoming, not like I don't always love glitter, but I just love glitter at Halloween and at Christmas time. And so this is just a great way to add glitter to your pages that's going to last. And what are we doing here? Oh, we're going to work on the title. Like I was telling you before, I cut those titles out of a cut file. So I'm going to use this Nuvo, and this one is new to me. I've never used Nuvo embossing powder, and it's super fine. And it's really gorgeous. This one is a matte. No, I'm sorry, it's not matte. It's a black, and it's like this glossy, really pretty color when it's done, and it covered fabulously. So I'm just smearing my ink onto my cut file there. Now, I'm going to stick it in my tray, and I'm going to pour the paper over it, or the powder over it. And I'm going to hold it up while I heat the powder. And that's because I don't want to heat any powder onto my glass surface here. Now, I probably could like use a craft knife or something to get it up, but I didn't know how that would work. So I just hold it up in the air to get it done. Now, you do have to be careful if you're using your heat gun and holding something while you're embossing it, because it will burn. Heat guns get super hot. And they also will kind of discolor your paper if you hold it in one spot for too long, which doesn't really matter right here. But I was doing some white paper on a birthday card the other day, and it kind of got discolored where I held it on too long, and it almost like burned the paper kind of. So you definitely have to be, and you have to hold on to it well, because obviously it just like blew out of the way there because I was trying not to burn my fingers. It's very precise science here. But I love how it gives that glossy texture, and it just, I don't know, it looks like professional or something. And so honestly, if you don't have a lot of alpha thickers or stickers, or, you know, heaven forbid, if someday they stop making them, it doesn't matter. Like, we got this. We can cut Cricut stickers. We can cut Cricut letters out all day long and emboss them to make them look like thickers. So there we got it. I'm going to put my title going vertically up and down the page like that. And now I'm going to use my circle punch to just cut out some of those pumpkins. So that was the theme of the layout. Obviously, it's Pumpkin Chunkin' is the title, and they're holding pumpkins, and the circle kind of gives an ode to pumpkins. So I'm going to use that other paper from the Fancy Pants collection, and I'm going to cut out those pumpkins. And now I'm going to use another way of embossing, which is to embellish your embellishments. So I have this wood veneer, which is cool. I like to use wood veneer on pages, but sometimes it's nice to make your wood veneer match your page. So I am going to dip them in my ink pad, and I'm going to use that silver glitter embossing powder on them and throw a new color element into my page. And it's silver glitter. And again, it's the glitter, which I love, but it won't make a mess in my page protector when we're done. Now, these are real little, so I'm going to use my little tweezers, or not tweezers. I was looking for my tweezers and I couldn't find my craft tweezers, so I'm using my pliers because I had recently made a little charm for an album, and I couldn't hold on to that, right? So now you'll see me blow it around here for a minute, but I do get the heat embossing powder set, and they're so cute. There is some little fun tool. I think I've seen Sarah Scraps use it, that will hold your stuff for you while you emboss it, or it holds the gun so you don't burn yourself. That might be something to look into. So there we have little shiny things. Oh, okay. Now I am backing all of my photos with white cardstock to make them just pop off the page a little more. And there we have everything kind of set on how I want to put it. What am I doing here? Oh, I found another wood veneer piece. It was a wood veneer pumpkin, and so I thought, well, goodness, I have to use that. So I used the same Sunset Boulevard Wow embossing powder that I used on the background to emboss that little pumpkin, because it just matched so perfectly. I pulled out that little chipboard piece because it matched the colors well. And in the final photos, you'll see that I did go through and add more circular pumpkins and a couple more stickers and a journaling circle as well. I wanted to stick with the circle theme, but I did that off camera at the end because it was kind of like an afterthought. So now I just want a little like subtitle down there. And so I'm going to use a fourth way of embossing, which is embossing stamps, which is probably the most common way of using embossing powder. So I just have this little themed pumpkin stamp. It says something about some pumpkin spice and everything nice, which is ironic because my son was not being nice to my other son. So I'm going to emboss that in black to match the title and watch the magic. Yay, it's just so satisfying to watch it all melt. And it just looks so put together and professional at the end. So I'm going to die cut that out and add it down there. I also add in a little bit of silver, like tinsel, like velvet ribbon thing underneath it, just to kind of bring in a third pop of the silver, because I have those 2 silver wood veneer pieces. So I like to, use my rule of 3 or the odd number rule. So that's what you will see on the final layout. And I'm using the arrow to point at the chunkin part of the pumpkin chunkin. Don't worry, no children were injured in the making of the scrapbook page. So I hope you guys will play along with me and show me how you use embossing on your scrapbook page. Sarah, I'm sure, will put up a challenge next month for the whole month to try this on your page. And I can't wait to see what you all make. I will link down below to the gallery. I'll also link down below to my affiliate link if you need to pick up some new colors of embossing powder, or if you've never had any before, I definitely suggest you try it out. It's a super fun way to add some interest to your page, and it's not like it lasts forever. That embossing powder will last forever because you can use it over and over again and put it back into the bin. And also, like, you don't need a little tray. You can just do it over a piece of paper, or I know Jennifer McGuire uses coffee filters to hold her extra powder and pour them back into the container that they come out of. So it's a really inexpensive way to add a bit of pop and shine to your page. I'll put my affiliate link down below if you want to go shop at A Cherry on Top, and I thank you guys for watching. Bye.